What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Talk on Tap podcast. We're here. We just cover all the four major sports: NFL, NHL, NBA, and just react to news like we are in today's episode with the NFL, or make tier lists, or talk about games in the NBA, NHL that are happening in this Stanley Cup final or just NBA Finals run. But today, NFL, we're kind of entering sort of that dry spell where some teams like mandatory mini camps are done, and it's just kind of OTAs. So, we're just kind of reacting to some live news. We'll also be doing tier lists throughout the offseason. I'm Jake. That's Nick. And in today's episode, first we're going to start off with Darren Waller announces his retirement after 8 seasons. Obviously, most memorable with the Raiders, but he did end with the Giants last year. And after that music video, he deserved to retire. Just what a way to go out, man. That's a definitely not, what a weird ending to a career.
Yeah.
But, just before that awful video that was, Darren Waller was dealing with a lot of injuries throughout. And, I think it was just time because, eventually injuries can take a toll on you. And, Waller, how much more can you take of this, get beat down at tight end? And, it had a toll on him, in his peak with the Raiders. He was a very good threat, could catch the ball, just do a little bit of everything. But, one of the, more underrated tight ends for the later parts of the 2010s and early 2020, he was always, a reliable pass catcher, sneaky fantasy pickup, but, he'll be missed. He didn't do much for the Giants last year, but, injuries was a big part of why he could never live up to all those flashes we saw from him in games. So it's a shame, but that's what injuries are in football. There's always a lot of what ifs, and he won't be one of the biggest what ifs, but in my opinion, he will be kind of what if that guy was always healthy? What could he have been?
Oh yeah, definitely. And he obviously had off the field stuff going on. He just got divorced and then making that whole music video about it, like you just brought up. So he definitely, maybe he has some mental stuff going on. If he does, then hope he gets the help he needs. But yeah, it was such a weird end to a career. It kind of just hit just like a brick wall where he makes a music video and then everyone's like, oh, well, he might retire now. And it's like, what? I didn't really think this was a thing he was thinking about, but
yeah, I did see some rumors earlier in the off season, but no, once everything came out, it was he'll probably retire.
Short-lived prime, because he was nasty for 2 years on the Raiders and then just started getting hurt left and right.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. Peak was great. They're like, this guy could be the next tight end. But it happens. That's the way life is. He got his money. So he had decent career. Obviously better than most that end up coming into the NFL. But yeah, just kind of the first part of news that we found interesting in today's episode.
Another thing I want to talk about, also going back to the Raiders, is this. I saw this and I think it's very interesting. Oh, I don't want to show.
Yeah, so Maxx Crosby, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, wants to stay in Las Vegas for a very long time. And when I hear that and win Super Bowl, no, those two just don't exist. Those two don't exist together. If Maxx Crosby wants to play in Vegas for a long time, that means he doesn't want to win a Super Bowl, because the Raiders are just a dumpster fire right now. It's like, what do you have? QB next year, you're trotting out Aiden O'Connell, or who else is there? Gardner Minshew. It's like, whatever. The offensive line is whatever. Devontae Adams is good, but he's already 32. So how much peak does he have left? It's just the defense isn't that great. Antonio Pierce is a good head coach from what we saw from him last year. But I respect the loyalty, and some players are just fine. Like Damian Lillard was in Portland for such a long time. Just trying to win out there and just stay loyal. But eventually, man, it doesn't matter. If you want to win a ring, you're going to go to a team like the Chiefs, take a pay cut. That's how easy it is. They're not how easy, but that's the steps you have to take to even come close to playing in those playoff games, hosting a home playoff game. I mean, when are the Raiders going to host a home playoff game? When was the last time they did that? So I respect the loyalty, Max, but I mean, you're not winning a Super Bowl with the Raiders, and we can clip this if I'm wrong. But boy, I mean, I'd be happy to be wrong because it won't ever happen.
Hey, well, I know he says he's not throwing heat, but he kind of does throw some shade at LeBron for what you just brought up about, he's going to have to sign with a team because he says, those guys like LeBron took the easy way out to get a ring. So kind of seems like he's taking a shot. Max, I know you said you didn't, but it's always easy to say that, trying to save face. But yeah, buddy, the only way you're getting a ring is if.
But this is one of the problems I hate about this quote. Basketball and football are two so different sports. I mean, the impact MJ or Kobe could have on their own teams is much greater than even as great as Maxx Crosby is. He's one player on an 11 defense and 11 offense. So it's completely different. And Max, we're not going to talk about LeBron beating the 2015 Warriors coming back from 3-1. I mean, it was him, Kyrie, and Kevin Love played his role fine, but that wasn't like chasing a ring. That was just going back home and winning one, like he promised. 2020 with the Lakers, he just did his thing. They traded for AD, but they traded for him. When LeBron first went there that first year, they missed the playoffs. They didn't have AD. So it's not his fault. The front office knows what they're doing and trades for players that are just good and want to win the championship. I mean, the Raiders don't know how to win a championship, Max. So fortunately, you're kind of screwed. No Super Bowl for you.
I think did you just bring up Dame? Because I think this if he stays there, this kind of reflects that whole situation. If you want to look, a star player in a place that's never going to win. Here it is.
No, I mean, it's great. And, Max then at one point, once he's like 34, I'll be like, all right, I'll get traded. And then it's like at that point, you're not the same player you were like we saw with Dame. And it's like, what team do you go to? You're relying on at this point, who knows? So Max, I mean, I respect the loyalty, but don't be, calling LeBron out when, all right, if you want to discredit his Heat rings because he signed up with super team, but the Lakers wasn't a super team when he got there, and it was just a really good team that added AD and was really good defensively. And the Cavs, when he came home, they had a young Kyrie, an aging Kevin Love against the best regular season team of all time. How is that ring chasing? So kind of got to look in the mirror a little bit in that situation. But, if he wants to stay with the Raiders, you know what? I'm happy for him. Raiders, big market. That just, isn't just a name at this point. They're not going to be a real Super Bowl threat in the next 3 years, at least, unless something drastic changes.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, how many years is left on Devontae's contract? Because I know he's had a lot of frustrations in, Las Vegas. So maybe he gets dealt.
Yeah,
if he's getting pissed off because O'Connell is garbage and can't get him the football, just like Jimmy and just like every other quarterback, pretty much that's been there. He might voice his opinion and just say, "I'm done. I want out."
This is what I love in this article. You can see Crosby and the Raiders will get a chance to continue their path to reaching the Super Bowl when their mandatory minicamp. That's what every team can say.
Hey, everybody's 0-0.
The Patriots quest, the Vikings, all our teams' quest begins.
Patriots quest starts.
Yeah, so for that Super Bowl this year.
Until week 1.
Is there anything else notable we want to talk about before we wrap this up?
I don't believe so. I mean, like it says, the mandatory mini camps start up soon.
Yeah, and this will be interesting. So this will maybe something. We talk about Monday, Atlanta. How does Kirk look from the injury? How much is he? What's Penix doing? And then your Patriots, a lot of teams start Tuesday, like a team like my Vikings were last week. So, it'll just be interesting to see what catches eyes. Obviously, we saw some famous things on Twitter, like Caleb Williams threw like 7 interceptions in a row. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens. Does Drake May get some good highlight clips? How does Jaden Daniels look? How does Marvin Harrison and that Kyler Murray connection look? How the defense is looking? We'll be here to cover it all in the news this week. Exciting time, get to see your team kind of before, like one last time before this week, before obviously each team kind of gets a break until training camp starts.
Yep.
But should be exciting seeing those rookies out there, the star players back. We can't wait to be here for it, though. But with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. And, we'll be here Monday through Friday covering all the different sorts of topics in the NFL, maybe a tier list this upcoming week on teams' expectations. But with that being said, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.